What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros. Oh, the prices of crypto, pretty much exactly where we left them yesterday. But the question is, are we going down? And if so, how much further? I will tell you guys right up front that there's an opportunity of a lifetime still coming your way to buy crypto. So do not be running for the hills. Do not be falling for all the FUD. We're going to do a little bit of FUD management today, but let you know what prices you should be looking at to accumulate some more Bitcoin, some more crypto. With that said, though, we're the Investing Bros. T-Shroom, hit the intro. Hello, everybody. Well, I'll be honest, before we get going too much further into the show, I don't even know why I feel off today. Like, the market's nothing crazy in the market's happening that surprised me. I just feel a little down today. We always have some down days. I don't feel like I have the energy I normally have. I thought I slept fine last night. But, T-Shroom, you ever have days like that? You have no excuse whatsoever. You just feel a little off that day.
No, Tim, I always feel better than I deserve.
Oh, okay. Good for you. All right. Well,
yeah.
All right. Well, just vulnerability, guys. If I don't seem like my same chirpy self, I have no idea why. I'm not depressed.
Some milk.
I might need some milk. I don't know why. I just don't feel as energized as I normally am. That doesn't mean we're not going to cover the alpha like we normally do. It just means today's a little bit different. Blackie Chan said, "Did you drink your tea, Tim?" He got it. I didn't drink my tea. I woke up this morning, I played with Brody for a little bit, and I just went about my day and forgot about the tea.
Dropping the ball, man. Hydration is key.
Is that a sign of addiction?
Yeah.
Do I need to get off this tea?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
Am I getting withdrawals right now?
Come
What's
on, chat.
to me?
Let's cheer up Tim. Smash the like button for me.
Oh, that works.
Let's get Tim the dopamine hit that he does not get from his tea this morning. What kind? Is it Earl Grey tea? Is it green tea? What kind of tea are we talking here?
It's the yerba mate tea. It's the good yerba mate.
That's right.
You know what else? I'm not drinking my tea. I just ordered a bunch of. It's getting warm here in Georgia, so I ordered a bunch of these T-shirts. This one says, let's see, we'll go a little higher.
Gym Day. Like a regular dad, only cooler. Gym Dad. Strong professional.
I'm not feeling the strength of my hoodie. You know, it's getting hot. So it's like kryptonite to Superman. The heat. I hate it. I thrive in the cold. Yeah, it is what it is. We'll keep going though. NFT Boy says, "Can Solana recover?" We'll talk Solana today. I think it can. But Tisha, you have a thought there? Sorry.
Well, Taylor, I don't know if you know this, but Taylor actually sent me a picture of you whenever you're drinking your tea.
Goodness gracious.
We like to have a laugh. We like to have a laugh. I do have a quote of the day for you, Tim. "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has."
Come on.
Epictetus, the Stoic.
Positivity, man. Having a mindset of positivity. It's all there. We've talked about this before. I'll say it again, though. Did you guys know scientifically you cannot both be grateful and anxious at the same time? The same part of your brain that is utilized during gratefulness is the same part that is utilized when you're anxious, and they cannot go at the same time. So consequently, I actually had this conversation with my wife Tay the other day. If you're a pessimist, you're going to be depressed. But it's all about your perspective on things. Only you can decide if you are happy or not. And I know that it's a little more complicated than that. I know things happen outside of your control, but ultimately, matter of perspective. If you can learn to focus on the positive things in life, you will not have bad days. Again, maybe I'm being a little negative today. Maybe that's also part of it. I don't know what I'm being negative about. I don't feel like I'm being negative.
I don't think you're being negative, Tim.
I just feel very low energy.
Now, through one of the many people that I know sent me an email of a company we should partner up with. What do you think about this? This is actually Gratitude Tea, Tim. What do you think about this as a partnership? One of them only has 0 calories.
I was going to say 45 calories isn't that bad either for being thankful.
Do they make protein tea?
I don't imagine.
Protein tea for sensitive bodybuilders.
All right, let's do this. Let's get in here and let's check out the markets here, everybody. You guys are going to be asking a lot of questions. Can Solana recover? Can Cardano recover? Can XRP stop being a stable coin? Oh, it did. It just went down to 49 cents. Bitcoin slightly up from yesterday when we were doing our live show. Ethereum even more, up over 1%. XRP up almost 2%. Cardano up 2.3%. Cardano, our biggest gainer of the top 10. You can see some of these other ones. Toncoin, of course, recently. Look at Toncoin. I don't know if it was like this yesterday. I don't know if we paid attention or not. Toncoin, of course, flipped Cardano a week or so ago. Now it flipped Dogecoin to being the number 8 coin. It is down, although, and when you look at these numbers, it just recently, I guess probably within the last little bit, has gotten flipped back by Dogecoin, because you can see Doge is sitting at a $22 billion market cap, whereas Toncoin is only at 21. So it just has not adjusted just yet, but it will for sure. Let's take a look at our top gainers, top losers. Who's winning today? Who's losing today? TIA holders are winning pretty big. So are our Pepe holders. 19 and 13%. Phantom not doing too bad at 8. WorldCoin up 8%. If you're winning with that one, you're winning at your ultimate demise there. Near Protocol up decently. Dog Whiff Hat. So a couple of our memes kind of making a little bit of a run today. Core's up a little bit. Sui's up a little bit. Let's see what our big losers, though, in case you guys are looking at. Our Echelon Prime coming in at 99th ranking. How much higher was it? They're about to fall out of the top 100. They're down 9.7%. Athena's down almost 9%. Ondo, a lot of people buying Ondo here recently, but not having itself a great day. That's okay, though. I still think Ondo has some good stuff coming your way. BitTensor. Now, it's down today, but this is one that I know a lot of people close to us are very excited about. In fact, I think that later this week, we're going to be putting out a BitTensor video.
Indeed.
Giving it a grade. Should you buy BitTensor? Should you not? We're not going to tell you price predictions in that video or anything, but there will be a video coming out on those 7 questions you got to ask before purchasing a coin. We'll answer all those 7 questions for BitTensor. Other losers, Pendle, Immutable X, Nervos, Toncoin, of course, we already talked about. There are our big losers of the day. Oh, look at that. Stacks coming in down there as well. One of the coins I am going to be looking to purchase more of. And ultimately, I think today, T-Shroom, correct me if I'm wrong.
I will.
I don't think that there is news to cover. So I know it's not no news, but it's not like a lot of news. We can probably talk a lot about today coins to be looking at for this pump. Coins that T-Shroom and I will continue to look for any excuse we can to acquire. Of course, we're not here to give you guys financial advice, but if you like what we think and you agree with what we think and you want to go buy those as well, be our guest. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here, guys. We did get an update overnight. Remember, Bitcoin was one of the ones that still had held out on the daily chart, not giving us a lower price prediction here with the Lux Algo tool here. Of course, our chart's always brought to you guys by Lux Algo. Great calls here. This is kind of confirming what I think a lot of us already knew was going to happen. I've been tweeting about it, been commenting about it. I was not convinced that this dip we had was necessarily the end, but I did think it was the worst of it, especially for altcoins. We're going to continue to watch, and we're going to show you some levels on that one. Bitcoin, though, I'm going to find a lot of confluence in here that says 56, 55K should be the levels you're looking at if you're saying, man, I want to get more Bitcoin. What could be the next big dip bottom? Could go lower. You know, technically we're still rising here on the green support band here on the daily chart for Lux Algo. That's coming in closer to 54. There's a big order block down here towards 50,000 as well. However, I'm going to focus on just a couple of things that I see going on here. The first one, of course, that middle zone. A lot of times with these take profits, I like to take profit myself if I'm in a trade. This time you're on the short trade suggested yesterday. I like to take profit at the very top. That will be somewhere down here around 59,000. But I like to always keep an eye on that middle zone. This case is looking at 56,700. I come over here. I also take a look at what we see on High Block. Of course, High Block being our liquidations chart. A lot of yellow coming in here right below 57,000. The yellow starts to cease around 55,600. If you're new and you're wondering, okay, what is Tim talking about with this liquidation chart? What is this yellow? These are levels that if those prices are hit, there's a lot of money that gets liquidated. The yellow is the higher amount of money that gets liquidated. So, you know, right now, if we were to have a massive pump, we got some great liquidations up towards 73,000. But at the moment, we have a lot of longs that would get liquidated if we hit 55. And ultimately, the reason why these are such strong targets is as traders who like to make some easy money on trades, they like to see these levels of liquidations and then they target them to go after and make some money. Right now, when we're in a downward slope and there's a lot of bearishness still kind of seeping in, I'm looking at the downward motion here, and I'm looking saying 56.5, 55K looks to be pretty good. And of course, that's got some confluence right in here with our take profit. I don't expect this to happen by tomorrow. I don't expect this to happen necessarily by even the end of this week. Let me explain to you guys why from a chart perspective. Do I think that we go a little lower? Yes. But I'm actually very surprised. Remember, we talked about this yesterday, all the levels that we hit with altcoins, and I told you guys, watch out for 60K again. I'm not surprised that we came back down here more recently, testing these lower levels, testing 60,000, but I'm surprised it did it so fast. I would be very surprised if we do another big dump. I think we're going to see something similar, ladies and gentlemen, to what we saw. Let's turn off Lux Algo for just a second. I think we're going to see something similar to what we saw back in 2016. Remember, we've been talking a lot about different fractals and time periods and halving events that Bitcoin's had in the past. As we're now days away, less than 1 week away. In fact, this week we're at 4 days away from the halving event. What could we expect similar movements to look like? Well, back in 2016, this is what price looked like. We had our big rally where we hit a new peak, not a new high for the Bitcoin market as a whole, but a new peak for that rally. We had a little bit of a cool off a little bit before the halving, and we traded sideways through the halving and then had one good dip a couple of days after and then rallied back up. And of course, about a month and some change later, Bitcoin took back off, setting new highs, breaking that former high that it set in June of 2016. I'm not going to be surprised right now. We have some bearish stories in play right now that will, in my mind, I think, continue to suppress the price. But there's still a lot of people buying these dips. I'm not going to be that surprised whatsoever as if what we really see is the next couple of days, maybe you come down here, maybe we flirt with 60K again, but you kind of flirt in this area going sideways. And then shortly after the halving, we have some form of a quick move. Again, I don't think we go this low. I think 55 looks like a decent little area, but maybe a quick move back down here to 55. Then it shoots back up almost like a wick. And then we trade sideways. And then slowly but surely, we make our way in the future. Something like that. I don't know why my line is green right there, but that's kind of the mode that I'm looking at. I'm not going to be surprised if you have to wait. And this is something people don't like to do, but be patient and wait. If you're thinking, man, I gotta make, I got money in my pocket right now. I got Tether or USDC waiting to burn. I got to get it out in the next 24 hours. You might be better suited just to sit back. If you need to buy some, because here's what I can tell you. I had a friend text me the other day and said, man, should I be buying, I can't remember what coin he asked, but should I be buying this coin right now? And I said, well, I can tell you what, I can't guarantee you that the price will go lower. I can't guarantee you really anything other than it's a better buy price right now than it was a week ago. That's the only thing I can guarantee you. That's the only thing we know 100%. And while I have my suspicions based off the charts that we have a little bit lower to go with most of our coins, there's no guarantee of those things happening. And I told you before, I am now pretty satisfied with the pullbacks we've seen. I mean, almost every single altcoin, save for Ethereum, has had at least a 50% pullback at this time. Bitcoin only about 18, 20%. But guess what? Recently, that's been all about Bitcoin needs to retrace. If it does go down to the 55K, guess what that would be? Let's see. That would be a little more than 20, but it's going to put us somewhere in the range of 23, 24. I think it's going to be really hard, guys, for Bitcoin to do much more than that with all the new institutional play in and all the big money players in there. I think 20, 25% is the new 30, 40, 50 for Bitcoin. Altcoins, I think some of them can. I think there are certain altcoins out there that are going to drop more like 60, 70%. But let's take a look over here. We were looking at some of these coins. Cardano, for example, I think there's levels below we can still go, but Cardano from that high back at 80 cents is down, 50% right there. Solana is down not quite 50%. I guess this one's more of a 40%. Solana's one of the ones I think could go a little more. It's down 40, could get back down to that 100 mark, go like 52. ICP is really close to that 50% pullback. Chainlink is really close to that 50% pullback. Could they go lower? Absolutely, they could go lower. But I'm satisfied that, man, we have had a good correction. and I'm starting to reaccumulate. I have not been buying for weeks, and I've kind of got a lot of flack for it. People are like, oh, super bearish, Tim. Why are you so bearish? Well, because I know that these types of pullbacks happen in the bull markets. And while there probably is a little bit more, I told you guys, let me show you some of those levels. Just turn it on Lux ALGO here. Let's go through some of these other charts. Bitcoin we already talked about. Let's look at Cardano. Cardano, again, has that take profit kind of sitting down here towards the beginning of it, around 35 cents. There's a nice order block sitting here on 37. That's easy. That's an easy, doable pullback for Cardano. Solana, I've already told you guys, while we've already hit that take profit, big order blocks coming in down here at 100. That would be the 50% pullback we've seen other altcoins have. Again, Solana is one of those coins that, because of how explosive it's been, it's going to have at least probably that 50% pullback, if not more. But I'll tell you right now, I mean, a lot of you guys are asking, man, should I wait for that? It's like, I'll tell you what, $130. If you're saying, should I buy Solana? If I'm like, I need to get more Solana in my portfolio, $130 is a lot better than buying at 200, is it not? But again, I think that potentially 200 is in play. Chainlink, we're wrestling with that support band, but we've had that take profit now coming in closer to $10. And I don't think this is going to happen, but I do, remember telling you guys and this is a lot of the coins that I've looked at. Remember how strong of resistance the $9.50, $9.70 zone was? Very, very strong resistance from back in June of 2022. And then we blasted through it in October and never came back close to it. Again, do we have to go that far? Not necessarily. There's still a lot of support between us in that spot, but it is where the middle of that take profit on the daily chart is coming in at. So don't necessarily ignore that. But I wouldn't say, without giving financial advice, I would say don't necessarily wait for $9.60 to buy more Chainlink. That could be a perfect buy spot, but I think if you can get back down again into the $12, $11 range, that's a really good level for Chainlink. ICP, again, continue to hold that support, but it could lose it for sure. Got a fat order block along with take profit and our green support band coming in around $9.30. So, I'm going to kind of echo something I said on Twitter. That's going to be the TA for right now, T-shirt. We'll do more during the Q&A, but I'm going to echo something I put on Twitter today is, I don't think the dips are over, but I think it's a lot closer to the bottom than people want to say. I was the guy here a week ago that everyone was complaining about, saying Tim is too bearish, Tim is too bearish, Tim is too bearish. And guys, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I will not ever say what I think you guys want me to say. I'll talk about coins I think you guys want me to talk about. I do want to create content that you guys want to watch, but if you're looking for somebody to tell you what you want to hear at any given time, you found the wrong channel. I'm going to tell you what I think about the markets. And recently, I've said some things that aren't popular at the time, then only if you wait a week or a month or maybe a couple of months ends up being dead on. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, I don't think the dip is over, but I think we're very close to it. And you're going to start seeing me be different than the market now. I think there's going to be a lot of people continue to be very bearish. I think you're going to see a lot of people, either the bears come out of the woodwork and be screaming at you, here we go, this is what we've been talking about, Bitcoin to 10K, new lows for altcoin. I'm not going to be that guy. Yes, I was bearish over the last couple of weeks, but I'm getting closer to being a full-blown bull. I'm telling people right now in my personal life, hey, could we go lower a little bit? Yes, we could, but ultimately, turn that DCA back on. Turn on that accumulation right now, because these prices are good prices compared to where we'll be a year from now. Yes, there's a lot of FUD in the news. Yes, there's a lot of people coming out. We're going to dispel some of that today. I think one of the things that we can go ahead and get out of the way, did anyone hear that rumor? T-shirt, I don't know if you heard this rumor, that JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, is selling his stock of Chase. And you guys should be really worried right now, because Jamie Dimon is giving all of these bearish signs to the market. Well, guess what, guys? Is Jamie Dimon kind of bearish recently? Yes. Does Jamie Dimon have concerns about the economy? Yes. Who doesn't have a concern about the economy? We've had concerns about the economy for a long, long time now.
I know I do.
However, and if you guys heard this news, I think it was Meet Kevin actually made a big deal last night, kind of spreading some FUD, telling everybody, uh-oh, guys, I think a big dip is coming. Jamie Dimon just sold $180 million worth of his own company stock. Some people are going to say, here's two ways to dispel this FUD. First of all, don't listen to what Jamie Dimon says. First, he's a liar. He just does the exact opposite of what he wants to do. The second thing is, those who maybe remember this, maybe you don't, he announced his plans to do this back in October, right? So this is recent FUD going, kind of being spread by Meet Kevin. No ill will towards me, Kevin. If you want to follow his channel, he's a great guy, makes great YouTube content. I don't think he's trying to purposely mislead. I think he caught wind of a story and didn't collect all the details before reporting it. We've all done that. I know I have. But I do want to dispel that rumor. He announced he was going to do it in October. Recently today, he actually even said the reason for doing this was to diversify my holdings. Let's learn from Jamie Dimon. We need to diversify. Don't be a maxi of any kind. Diversify your holdings. Also, guess what happened yesterday? We all paid taxes. Jamie Dimon's an American. He's a husband and a father. He has to pay taxes just like you and me. He had to pay some good taxes. So this was planned months ago. It was not a response to his recent concern about the economy. It was a response to he had planned to do this for a long time to A, diversify his portfolio, and B, to pay for his taxes. Do not fall for that FUD. That being said, there is a lot of other things out there that are concerning, and we can go ahead, T-Shroom, after people smash that like button if they're enjoying the show so far, and if they hit that subscribe button, we can move into the news. I want to start off with some very fresh news here. Just about an hour ago, I think Jerome Powell stopped speaking on stage, gave some remarks about recent inflation numbers. T-Shroom, why don't you tell us about what's happening from Jerome Powell right now?
Our fearless leader over at the Federal Reserve, Tim, Federal Chairman Jerome Powell said, recent data shows lack of further progress on inflation. Of course, this is not the words that you want to hear coming from Jerome Powell as a holder of risk assets. However, that's what we're getting. Is it the end of the world? Should you sell all your risk assets? I don't think so, right? But this does indicate that what Caleb Branson has been saying, what we've agreed and kind of have been saying as well, is that we're not going to be getting those cuts, especially when what State Street came out and said that we're going to be getting them as soon as the next decision, right? Mm-hmm. And more than likely we won't be seeing them till September, if even then, at the soonest. So this comment from Jerome Powell today just kind of reinforces that. So what do you think, Tim? Yeah. Do you think there's any chance that we do get cuts before September?
Well, yeah, let's address that for a second. The first answer is no, we won't. And I'm actually getting to a place where I'm asking the question, do we even get cuts in 2024? I want to echo something Caleb Branson said. I think this last Wednesday, maybe it was the Wednesday before, we asked him, if he was president of the United States, would he continue to hire and keep Jerome Powell as the federal chair, the Fed chair? I think if you were to if you were to poll, man, I'm thinking my words here. If you were to poll CT, meaning crypto Twitter, I've seen a lot of crypto Twitter really disliking Jerome Powell, kind of coming after him. I don't necessarily know why. I will say I don't like how long it took Jerome Powell and the Fed to start raising interest rates way back in 2022. But when I look at what he's done / said over the last year, despite the people continue to hate on him, I've kind of found myself quietly thinking, I think he's doing what's right. We've had speculation that if he wants to keep his job, Donald Trump has all but said that, Donald Trump day one, if he gets elected president again, is going to fire him. There's every incentive for Jerome Powell, if he wants to keep his job, to make the economy look like Joe Biden's doing a good job. And yet, that's not what he's doing. He's sticking to his guns. Right now, when you look at inflation still not under control and now showing signs of going back to the upside, and him hitting it right on the head and saying, guys, we're still in trouble here. We're not going to lower rates until we actually see control. It's actually, when you think about it, self-deprecating. It actually works against him. I don't think he's winning Donald Trump over. I don't think Donald Trump's back here saying man, Jerome Powell, you're really handling these numbers correctly. I'll reconsider. I think if Donald Trump wins the president, Jerome Powell will be out. And yet Jerome Powell is doing what I think he thinks is best. And honestly, I think is best as well. He didn't cut too soon. He's waiting to see the positivity. He's now seeing the numbers are actually going the wrong way. I think that if he is smart and actually cares about his job and the U.S. people, he's going to continue to keep rates high. If not even, here's where it's going to be crazy. I'm not saying he's going to do this, but should he start having discussions about a potential another 25 basis point hike? That's not what we want to hear. It's not going to feel good, but honestly, that's something that might need to be having a conversation. Everyone keeps talking about how long we're going to push away the cuts. What about the conversation of saying, did we go high enough? We might not have. We might need to go a little bit higher and deal with this sucker now. Now, you also make the argument the dollar's not worth saving, in which case that's a good argument as well. Either way, this all brings us back to the question, is what Jerome Powell's doing, is it good for Bitcoin? Is it good for crypto? And I'm going to tell you guys what, it's really confusing because some people are going to think this is negative for Bitcoin. Because obviously, if we cut rates and things get easier to borrow, more than likely people are going to flood over to Bitcoin. So the logical explanation, T-Shroom, would be, well, if we don't cut rates, shouldn't that be bad for Bitcoin? And it might be in the short term, but I think long term is no. I think people are watching right now, especially wealthy people with established wealth already, and they're seeing just how terrible the U.S. dollar is. Other countries and other wealthy, billionaires are watching their fiat currency turn to crap. And I think the natural answer is all dirt roads lead to Blacksburg. No, I'm kidding. All dirt roads lead to Bitcoin. Is your dollar doing well? Go buy Bitcoin while you can. Is your dollar turning to crap? Go get Bitcoin. Get away from that dollar. Whether we cut rates, whether we cut rates, whether we raise rates, whether we keep the rates the same, the writing is on the wall for the U.S. dollar versus Bitcoin. If rates go down, that's incentive for poor people to go buy Bitcoin. If rates go up, that's incentive for wealthy people to go buy Bitcoin. Either way, it all leads to the same path. Go buy Bitcoin and store your wealth in something that will still be here in the next 50 years, assuming the world is still around in 50 years.
Yeah.
When it comes to the other altcoins, I know this is a long answer, but when it comes to the other altcoins is where I start to have questions on if we keep rates high / raise rates. Now you're talking about the altcoins potentially having some problems because they are still very much risk on. If rates go up, risk on goes down. Bitcoin is not a risk asset anymore. It's just not. It is a fight against inflation. It's a flight to quality. So again, if everything's good, all the poor people go buy Bitcoin. If everything's bad, all the rich people go buy Bitcoin. At the end of the day, people are going to be buying Bitcoin one way or the other. The question is, do we get altcoins to go up or not? T-Shroom, I just gave a very long answer. I hope that people tracked with me. What about you? What are you thinking about this news?
Well, look, I think that what Bitcoin is it's a superior store of value, and that it, to me, is without question at this point, right? BlackRock has kind of come onto the scene in Wall Street and kind of taken that position. Fidelity agrees with it. Many other of these ETF issuers also agree with it, but there is still a contention from Vanguard, and to some extent, it seems like it's kind of split down the middle, JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, right? But ultimately here, what we have is a huge momentum movement towards Bitcoin as being a store of value. However, when we have geopolitical tensions, right, it's not just Bitcoin that sees the correction, because I do think that part of the market, right, that part of the market that hasn't completely bought in, and when I say the market, I mean Wall Street, money managers that are trading daily and weekly, have not bought in fully to the Bitcoin being a store of value. But more and more, the momentum is headed in one direction. But there's still, and I was talking to my dad about this today, there's still probably, 40 to 20% of Wall Street that looks at Bitcoin and is unconvinced. They're not fully on the Peter Schiff side where they're like, I'll never buy Bitcoin, it's a Ponzi scheme. But they're looking at Bitcoin and they're like, I'd rather just buy ExxonMobil or gold or a gold mining company. That's what their brain thinks. And I don't expect that to change for another 10 years. And it doesn't matter how high Bitcoin goes. It's just in a certain demographic of Wall Street, people that manage money, the world's money, they're just not going to see Bitcoin as a store of value for some time. But that number is going to dwindle. Overall, the dollar cannot go anywhere in the next 30 years. Like, we can't have, like, our quality of lives would be extremely different than they are today if something were to happen to the dollar in a significant way. What we want ultimately is probably we want multiple currencies, and some people are in favor of the dollar going away. Maybe eventually, maybe over like a 200-year span or something like this. But I think if it goes away in the next 5 years, you and I are out in the woods with guns. Nobody's hitting the like button because nobody's tuning into anything, in my opinion.
I think the only part of here's where I'll agree with you and disagree with you. I think we need to have, you can't go one day from buying milk for $3 a gallon to buying milk for 150 satoshis or something, right? You can't change the numbers of things, but what could change, let's just think about how money has worked. 100 years ago we were still on the gold standard. For a long time people were taking coins around everywhere, and then all of a sudden we flipped into paper money. This happened a couple hundred years ago. And then all of a sudden, people are now saying, oh, you don't need to carry cash around. Just take a checkbook around. You can write checks and the banks will do everything for you. And then the technology comes out with these chips and we can get credit cards. And, now you don't even need a credit card. You just take your phone and you just hit it on the, my point is money, the way you spend money changes all the time. The only thing that we need more consistency of is a number to associate, am I getting a good deal or not? So that's where stable coins / CBDCs, but stable coins is the more decentralized figure here. So let's talk about that one. I think a way to have a stable coin is good, but getting us off the US dollar system where we have to trust in a money that's backed by the word of men and women in one little entity, this place in America being Washington, D.C., that's going to go away, I think, and could go away in the next 10, 15 years. I don't think 3-5 years that's too soon. But could we switch away from a very weak fiat currency in the next 10 years? We absolutely could. Why? Because we have done it frequently. We'll just need some form of all right, this transition now, you'll still think of things. We might even still say the word dollar, but ultimately, we're not using the same currency we were before. We're using something much more sturdy and strong and dependable that instead of every single year, I'm thinking everything's going to increase by at least 5% in price. It's going to be the same price today as it will be in 10 years, assuming people just raise the price, because the value of the dollar isn't going down by 5% every year. It's staying exactly still, if not getting stronger year in and year out.
Now, what I love is, Tim, you and I, we get into these conversations. It really should be over the span of like an hour and a half. We try to compress into a very short amount of time. I think that the rugged nerd here has said it pretty well. Dropping fiat overnight is like dropping fossil fuels overnight. We'd survive, but it'd be ugly AF and ugly Air Force. I think is what he meant there. But no, ultimately, I think that's kind of the way that I'm thinking about it. It's not that the dollar couldn't be replaced. I think if China and the U.S. got together and they're like, look, we're all going to CASPA. Forget about the dollar. Forget about the yen. Forget about peso and everything else, the euro. We're all just going to CASPA and Cardano. We're going to split it up against the top 100 crypto. Like, they could get it done. But the reality is that is not the priority for the existing power structure of this planet that we're on. Changing overnight would require a vast amount of resources, a vast amount of attention to detail, to a lot of different multifaceted, dynamic, moving systems. Could it be done? I think it could, if that became a priority number one for the world, but it's just not. And I don't think it should be. I think that this should be a slow process of letting these new concepts of decentralized currency compete with each other over like a 20 to 30 year span, let the best survive. And I think Bitcoin, it won't, in my opinion, unless some things happen with the speed and the scalability of it, it will be the store of value of the future, probably along with some other proof of works or some technology that comes along that's similar to that. But there'll be some other currencies that are the actual ones that you're exchanging at Walgreens, right, or ExxonMobil, paying for gasoline, or electrons to put in your EV vehicle, whatever it's going to be. So. This is the kind of stuff I love talking about, though, Tim.
Yeah, the only response I'll make to that, which let me just agree. Yeah, switching off of fiat currency would be ugly Air Force. Revolutions are ugly. Are we not, though, at a place where we need a revolution? I mean, it wasn't very pretty back in 1776. I'm acting like it just happened 50 years ago. It wasn't very pretty what happened in 1776. That was a very uncomfortable time for a lot of people here in the United States. But was it not needed? So I'm not even going to say, let's just assume going off fiat currency is kind of ugly. That doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. I think that we're sitting in a spot where the longer you hold off going through an extreme situation to fix the world's finances. I mean, take a look at what's happening in the world right now. I'm not going to say everything goes back to it, but is it not money and wealth is one of the largest factors that equate into war going on total. In total, there's a lot of details going in, but money is responsible for what's happening in Ukraine. Money is responsible for what's happening in Israel right now. Money is involved. When you get yourself off of strong currency and you have some problems, you're going to have many world problems as well. And right now, I think we have found a lot of world leaders in vulnerable spots where they realize that their fiat play money sucks and there is a better use case out there. And ultimately, what happens on these times in history is it takes some days, weeks, months, years of uncomfortable revolution to get the world where it needs to be. And I don't think that's going to happen. Ultimately, I do think it's going to be a slow fade. But I'm just sitting here saying, like, would we not be okay with a little bit of ugliness to get off the fiat currency? Because ultimately, the world's pretty ugly with fiat currency as we're currently living in it.
Tim, as much as I would like to think that I am brave and strong enough, I think that the men that fought in the Civil War, right, or not the Revolutionary War, right, they were just a different. They had a different level of desperation. They also had a different opportunity, right? It was, and we can go again. These are like hour and a half conversations. I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's a good one.
But yeah, I mean, look, I think do we need a revolution? I think it's a slow moving evolution with revolutionary characteristics, right? Instead of socialism, where one group of elites, or communistic overthrow, where one group of elites, causes an uprising of the lower classes, stirs up contention, and just all they do is just replace the elites with another group of elites. I think what Bitcoin is, and what decentralized currency and decentralized value, the ability to exchange your hours of labor for a decentralized currency, a currency that cannot have its supply or demand altered by a centralized entity. I think that is a revolutionary technology that so far is on a pretty good trajectory through our culture, as it's kind of finding its footing, finding its how it's going to be situated for the long haul. But the dollar and the euro, these are, I think, equating it to fossil fuels is a pretty good comparison. They're so deeply ingrained to especially systems around growth and investment into new infrastructure and technology that you may not maybe have this collapse of civilization, but you definitely wouldn't have the next 100 bridges that need to be built. You wouldn't have a whole lot of growth over the next couple of years. So, and maybe that, if that's all we have to sacrifice, the next 500 bridges around the world, or the next 500 schools that need to be built, whatever it is, I think that's what would be very difficult is the world switching over from the debt structure that creates the availability of liquidity to build new growth projects and things, to basically the world running off of a fixed supply asset. It'll be done, and it'll be a better future because you're going back to a hard currency. But that transition, I think, will be too wibbly wobbly. And while it's nice to think of because we have cryptocurrency, right? We would be kings, whatever it is. There's a lot of people that don't, and that they're technologically too removed from the current ability to get into the digital world and start to engage in commerce there.
All I'll say is,
what you got?
The U.S. dollar in its current form is less than 100 years old when we went off the gold standard. The euro was created in 1999. If 20 to 50 years is too ingrained to make a change, to me, T-Shroom, I hear what you're saying. And I'm not trying to say that this is what you're supporting, but I will say staying away from something because it's uncomfortable, is that not exactly what the people in power want? Is that not a way for the minority to enslave the majority by saying, you don't want to change what we're doing for you? Look at how difficult and uncomfortable it would be. Let us continue to have power and dictate what your time and worth looks like in our own form. To me, I'm just saying, I'm like, listen, I understand it's uncomfortable, but I'm sitting here saying, if you don't think that we can change money again in the next 10, 15 years, again, the money that's ingrained, that's so useful, is 20 to 50 years old. That's it. Again, it's similar to the money. It's similar to the money we used 100 years ago, but when you look at its fundamentals, it's completely different. I'm not asking us to break the dollar system of saying milk costs $3. I'm asking us to change what backs our currency and our wealth. And to me, I think that's definitely doable in 10 years if the people make it uncomfortable on the government rather than listening to the government's threats that changing would be uncomfortable to them.
I like it. Well, it looks like we're stirring up quite a bit of a conversation, which is an excellent outcome of this chit chat here.
A history lesson, yeah.
Overall, I'm just excited to be part of the tip of the spear of a movement that I believe is going to be the foundation for a better future, where humans will not only explore, but we will go inhabit space, and we will care for each other. We will have gratitude at an unprecedented level that we never thought of before because of the types of people who are watching the stream, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button, because we are here. We're capitalists. We want to see a profit for our time, for our investment, but we want to see a better future. And that's what the founding fathers of the United States of America wanted. And they were willing to throw luxuries such as tea off the side of a ship just to send the signal to the king, hey, we're tired of the old system. You're losing control. You better see who's actually in charge, and you better get with it, or else we're going to keep dumping this tea. You don't think we can live without tea? They did. That was the sacrifice they had to make, right? In our lives here in America, the sacrifices we might have to make is...
I already started. I went off with... I didn't have tea this morning. I'm already on my way to repeating the American Revolution.
A lot of these things that we're talking about here are alive and well in one country in the world, and that is El Salvador. A lot of this revolution has already taken place.
Yeah.
It may not be turning out as exactly how Bitcoiners would think it would be, but there is a development. I don't know if you've seen this yet. El Salvador, we're opening our new offices to support digital transformation. So Google is opening up an office in El Salvador to help support the El Salvador transformation. Okay? There's a lot of good words in here. And in my mind, this is a middle finger to the IMF, who last week, if it wasn't the week before, told El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, the president there, hey, you want $1.4 billion? You got to make some changes to that whole Bitcoin structure you've got going on in the country. You know how you made Bitcoin legal tender? Yeah, we don't like that. We don't like that. If you want to keep that mustache of yours, you're going to better get rid of it. You better get rid of that Bitcoin, or you're not getting that $1.4 billion that you need. Trillion. Well, Google has swept in and said, it looks like things aren't going very well with the IMF, but we're going to come in and we're going to help this digital transformation. Tim, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good move for Google? Do you think this is good timing?
It's very good, I think, for a lot of reasons, because there was speculation there for a while. Was Google going to potentially side with maybe more of the TradFi space and be anti-crypto, which makes no sense because Google wants to be on the front line of technological innovation, right? So that was kind of a question mark. I was like, why is Google fighting crypto? Well, this is definitely a win for crypto to see Google stepping into the country who's leading the charge for massive Bitcoin adoption and say, we're going to partner with you and help you build. And ultimately, watch this be an amazing move for Google. And they might be one of the first, but they will not be one of the last companies in the tech space that moves operations. Again, they're not moving all operations, but this could be the beginning of that movement that moves offices and operations down to a country that does see the future, that is innovating, that is tired of the old fiat currency way. That's good for business. That's just good for building wealth as a whole. So I'm a big fan of this. I'm very, very glad Google's making this move, A, for themselves, and B, for the rest of us, showing that they are pro-crypto after all.
Mm-hmm. Now, Google is a very large organization, and they're bringing you this video right now on YouTube, right? Yep. We wouldn't be able to do it, but they do come with some blemishes of their own. One that comes to mind is their recent release of their AI product, Gemini, which when you typed in Founding Fathers of the U.S., these were some of the images that you got back, right? Kind of very friendly with the diversity and inclusion crowd, which, is seen is maybe one of the principles that shouldn't be perpetuated into the future in such a top-down way, so to speak. Diversity and inclusion, of course, in and of themselves, great principles, but the as they relate to the political movement here in the United States, comes with some snags, so to speak. One of those snags is this: you just get a strange perversion of reality, which is not actually an accurate representation of the human experience.
I
So
could be wrong, T-Shroom. I'm pretty sure the CEO of Google came out pretty much saying this is embarrassing and ridiculous.
he
Ultimately,
absolutely did.
that whole thing came out from just a couple of, I'm not gonna say interns, but employees that took upon themselves too much power to promote uh, just some woke stuff right there. I think the CEO has dealt with it. I don't hold, as funny as that whole thing was, I do not hold that against Google, because I do think the CEO has come out and pretty much said, hey, that's pretty ridiculous. We do love diversity here, but let's not be ridiculous like that. That's pretty embarrassing as a whole.
It was. Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, absolutely. Tim, you took the words right out of my mouth, and I appreciate it. Jumping in there. Yeah, he came back and he said, look, like, we've made mistakes. We're fixing them, but Gemini is going to be great. Buy licenses today. We need to compete with Microsoft. But overall here, I really like the optics of Google jumping in when the IMF is kind of putting the pressure on El Salvador. I do think that Google is making a statement here, and it is a crypto forward statement. They're not coming in and saying, hey, we're going to build all these crypto rails and we're going to pump AVAX and Cardano to the moon. No, they're saying we're going to come in and support you all, support the country of El Salvador and your digital needs. This is going to come with a price tag, right? But ultimately, we are looking to support this country, which has taken a risky step in a digital future that we believe in, and screw the IMF. And I think that it's a great positive direction.
Yeah.
It also comes the same week that the Hong Kong Securities and Exchange Commission equivalent goes ahead and passes the ETF for Bitcoin and Ethereum, first to do so on the spot variety. And it's been a good day. It's been a good week for crypto. It's just the price charts, man, are absolutely getting a little bit of movement to the downside, in case you haven't noticed, opening up some discounts for maybe some folks who missed the ship. Well, Tim, we have made our way through the news here. There, again, not a ton of developments right now. There's a lot of new projects getting launched and different things like that we'll cover later in the week. But we do have a factoid of the day, and that factoid is brought to you by iTrust Capital. Folks, we trust iTrust, and if you are looking for an excellent way to save money in a tax-advantage IRA, in crypto in an IRA, that's right, you heard it correctly, and also get free $100 towards your first investment in crypto, look no further than the first link in the description of this video for iTrust Capital. From 1994 to 1995, what American corporation was known as Cadabra Incorporated before the rebrand? Was it A, Deloitte, B, Amazon, C, JCPenney, or D, Walgreens?
I got no idea whatsoever. Cadabra?
Come on, Tim. You don't know anything about American history, do you?
Not about this. Bruh. I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. I'm trying to remember, because obviously Amazon started off as like a book. It was just books.
Right.
But did it start that way, or did it start off? I'm leaning potentially towards B. Cadabra.
Leaning towards B. Okay.
I'm gonna go with B. I'm gonna say Amazon, because I don't feel like JCPenney, or I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I'm just thinking like abracadabra, like the magic stuff. Let's go with Amazon. I could see him change the name to Amazon because he hadn't taken off yet.
Look at that, Tim. You got it right. And so did all the bros that guessed B. Amazon, formerly known as Cadabra Incorporated, from 1994, your boy's birth date. Let's go.
There you go.
And 1995, which is your birth date, right? Or were we both 1994?
We're both 94. Yeah, I'm older than you, so I'm not going to be born a year later than you.
Qualm Z, that is an interesting name. Qualm Z said, obviously Amazon. Well,
obviously.
I did not realize that we had the world's foremost expert on corporate name changes in the chat. Let's go, bros. We made it to Qualm Z's YouTube suggested list.
There we go.
Zachary Martin said he's changing his answer to B.
There we go. That's good. It's always good to change.
Long sound effect.
That was super long. By the way, let's go back to the sponsor, iTrust Capital. In case you guys didn't know, Yesterday was the last day to file for 2023. You can only do, is it $7,000 a year right now, T-Zoom?
That's correct, Tim.
All right, so you can only put $7,000 per account. That's key information per account for iTrust Capital. So one of the things I do with iTrust Capital, I have an account now for myself, my wife, and for my son Brody, which means actually I can put upwards of $21,000 a year into it. I'm not saying take every penny you can right this second and go do it, but guess what? Now that it's April 6th, now it's April 16th of 2024. Today's day one of 2024's $7,000 allotment. And think about what's going to happen. Again, could we see some more drops in prices? Yes, we already talked about that. There's, I think, a little bit lower prices coming. But as a whole, when you think about the next 365 days, we are sitting in some of the most primed opportunity. You will get the most Satoshis, the most Danos, the most links. I don't know what the names are for the individual things on those. You can get the most bang for your buck buying probably within the next couple of weeks. So we heavily, heavily encourage you. If you've been on the fence about iTrust Capital and you say, well, maybe I'll do that in a couple of months, this is going to be the best time ever moving forward to go buy and get your money into a Roth IRA and protect the taxes from the government. If you wait 6 months, you can still buy $7,000 worth. It just might get you half the Satoshis you could have gotten if you bought within, between now and maybe the next couple of weeks. So go sign up today, get yourself set up and ready, get an account for you, your wife, any kids you have. That way you can get more of your money legally away from the IRS. Never advise you to do anything illegal. Please follow all laws that apply to you. But this is one of the ways, if you're saying, I'm freaking tired of giving Uncle Sam my hard-earned money, this is one of the legal ways you avoid that. Go sign up with iTrust and link down below. Let's get into some Q&A. Got a lot of people in chat giving their thoughts. I also want to let you guys know I will be on today. Last Thursday, I was on Stocks with Josh. I saw actually a couple of people in the Bros community were already Stocks with Josh people, but I heavily advise you guys go check out Stocks with Josh. If you want to learn more about the stock market, he does an amazing job of breaking that down. He has an awesome community. He also does a lot of TA. I will be back on with him again today. We're going to talk more crypto on his channel. We'll talk Lux Algo. We'll do some chart stuff over there as well. But go check us out over there. Show some love and chat over there with the Bros community. Let's get some Q&A in here. Do you guys want to ask questions just about us in general? Do you want to ask some questions about doing some more charting? Do you want to ask questions about Virginia Tech spring game and how we're going to be the best team in America this year? All of these things are questions you can ask if you so desire.
Kyle Fields has jumped in here with an interesting comment on the factoid. He said, because books would appear like magic. That's why they named it Kadabra.
Is that true? Is that true?
Well, I don't have any reason to believe that it's not true. And Kyle, he's got a collared shirt in the little picture of him, of Kyle. So I trust him.
It's not just a collar shirt. It's got a button up with a suit coat over, like at least a nice jacket. So Kyle Fields has no idea. He just
people who wear collared shirts never lie. Bernie Madoff never wore a collared shirt ever. I don't think. So that's good. Yeah, they'll appear like magic. Was Jeff Bezos was there from the beginning, right? I believe he was like the founder.
Yeah.
Kyle Fields says he has no idea if that's true. I think.
Yeah.
Probably.
So,
man, not a good look for the collared shirt wearing.
Not a good look for collared shirt people. Zachary Martin says Kyle's definitely a politician, just throwing us BS.
Yeah.
Well, he is wearing a collared shirt. So, let's see here. Question for you, T-Shroom, because I honestly have not done a lot of deep research here. Warrior 4588X, one of our members. Thank you for being a member, by the way, Warrior. Said I would love to hear your thoughts on Aero. Is it Aerodrome? Is that what this is? AERO?
If it is,
heard people talk about it. Yeah. I don't know if I've done. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research into Aero. So Warrior, I'm not gonna have a great take there. I know that Crux definitely has talked about it.
I think Kelly's pretty bullish on it. I don't think I see
Crux in chat today.
Big Kelly Kellum over from the
Kelly
BitLab Academy. Huge friend of the show. Huge friend of me. He is my friend. I am his friend.
Yeah, he is. All right, let's see here. I'm going to look it up on CoinMarketCap.
I've got
Aerodrome Finance. Okay, yeah, what do you got?
Tell us about it. Aerodrome Finance, Tim, a lot of people don't know this, but it's actually the next generation automatic market maker, AMM, designed to serve as Base's central liquidity hub, combining a powerful liquidity incentive engine, vote lock governance models, and friendly user experience. Aerodrome inherits the latest features from Velodrome V2. So the one reason that springs to mind of why someone might be bullish on this project is because Base does not have a coin. So something that is so fundamental to the Base ecosystem could be kind of bought by osmosis, so to speak, because there's no Coinbase coin to buy. Somebody might think Aerodrome, well, it's kind of an important coin to that ecosystem. Maybe I'll just buy that.
Yeah.
So
let's share my screen here real quick. Let's talk about Aerodrome a little bit more. I need to look in the tokenomics here, but this is kind of just raw. You guys are watching me kind of look into this coin. I don't love what's happening over here with supply. Now, maybe they have some sort of rules here. Ultimately, here's what I'll tell you guys. Everyone's going to have some form of an explanation. You're going to find if anyone's an Aerodrome like maniac, they're going to be like, well, they have a plan. It's going to be stretched out over this long, and there's this much locked up. All right, I will give anyone the benefit of the doubt, but I also have to just call a spade and say this is not a good situation you have going on right here, right? So there's no max supply, at least reported, that they've given us. So that's our first sign. I will always prefer coins that have max supplies. Some of them, though, can be deflationary and have some good things going on, like Ethereum. I've also heard, we made a video on DOT the other day, a couple weeks ago. DOT has plans to become deflationary. So that's a massive win for Polkadot. But as a whole, I don't love that they don't have a max supply. I need to learn what's going on with supply. But what we do know about them is they're self-reporting 159 million tokens. Almost 160 million tokens are in circulating supply. But the total supply is 812 million. Which means we got a lot of tokens that are not coming. What are the rules for these being released? Are they rewards to? Is Aerodrome stakeable? Like, are these node operating rewards? Is there a unlocking time span like XRP? They unlock tokens at the beginning of every month, but then randomly this last month they unlock a bunch right in the middle. There's going to be an explanation, I'm sure, that is going to cause some people to say, oh, yeah, Aerodrome's good. But I'm just telling you, you definitely want to know the details of the unlocks and of the rewards, because ultimately on the surface, 20% at best of the tokens in existence being in circulation means if you buy now, guess what? The market cap could skyrocket, but they dump a bunch of new tokens and the price stays the same and you don't get a good investment. You don't make a lot of money on the investment. So I'm not saying don't buy Aerodrome. What I am saying is know the tokenomics. You guys who are looking into it, give us answers in chat. I'll do more research as well, but tell me where you guys are finding the details of their tokenomics, because on the surface, I don't like that. I don't like. Again, I'm not perfect at math here, but that's going to be 20%ish. Less than 20%, I think, even.
And the numbers are similar on CoinGecko as well. Circulating supply, 402 million. Total supply, 900.
Well, those numbers are completely different. Similar, and they're different. They're just completely different.
Yeah, this one's more like 48%, something like that. 50.
It's still not great. I like when it gets above and it's closer to 60, 70%. But you get the point here. There's a lot of confusion right now in the tokenomics. Before I would invest a single dime, I would need to know more about those tokenomics to feel comfortable about it.
And sometimes in order to be early, you have to discard, your concerns about the tokenomics, or you don't buy it, right? But generally, I think Aerodrome, from what I've heard from other, smart investors that I know, like and trust, it's not a bad project, right? It just needs some more research from the investing bros. It's not one that's really hot on our radar. And so, while we can't be bullish on it, we can provide you with a cute picture of a dog. That is something that we're confident in providing. So, Litecoin was a coin that was thrown out by Kyle Fields for the monthly charts specifically. So, a fan of the monthly charts, like your boy T Shroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's talk
about
monthly charts.
Tim hates the monthly charts.
There's not a lot you can do with the monthly chart information is my only problem with it. Let's turn on Lux ALGO. Let's see what's happening in the monthly chart. When I say that, it's like because to get any new update to what's happening, you have to wait like another 30 days. And then like candles, you really need to see accumulation of like 10 to 15 candles to get a picture of what's happening next. So I need to wait like pretty much an entire year to use this chart to get details. Don't get me wrong, I'll check monthly charts from time to time just to see some good observations here and there, but I'm not checking the monthly chart every single day. Let's take a look at what's happening here.
Well, really quick, before you do that, if you like the monthly charts, drop a 1 in chat. If you hate them and you think no one should ever look at the monthly charts, drop a 2 in chat. And in either one, I win. We're having.
All right. Let's see what's going on here. As a whole, look at the monthly chart. I'll tell you one thing that for sure is going to still be in play here. And it's actually kind of bullish, but I don't need the monthly chart to see this. But you kind of have a little bit of a, and I have to raise this up. I don't know why I had that level the way I did. It's been a while, I guess, since I've done it. But you kind of have a little bit of a flat top with a consistent level of rejection right there above $100, but our bottoms are getting higher and higher. Like our lows are getting higher and higher. This could lead us into something that we would call an ascending triangle. Let me just kind of draw some things there. The line did not go exactly where I wanted it. We'll just kind of draw it like that roughly. Rising support levels, flat resistance levels now for a long time period since the first touchback in February of 2023. That's a positive sign right there. Ultimately, we have a little bit of a it's too early. Again, we have 14 more days until this candle closes. At the moment, the fact that we have a bigger blue candle body than the white one speaks bearish nature. But there's just so much that can still happen. Money flow on the monthly is not looking very positive. The RSI is so boring. I'll tell you what. Did he say something about the monthly chart that he thinks is important?
I'm not
not
sure.
finding a lot.
He just said he wanted to see it. Kyle also said every chart serves a purpose. So kind of taking the easy middle ground on the contentious debate.
Yeah, slugs serve a purpose too. I'm not really a fan of them.
Wow.
Weekly chart, definitely more bullishness coming on. We're coming back down, retesting the weekly smart show concept. We have a take profit way up high at 155 to 200 here on Litecoin. Definitely wrestling with a fat order block there as well. Oscillators were bullish. They're kind of showing signs of weakness, but the money flow, again, the only thing here, the money flow looks like it's keeling up here. So again, weekly charts, even you still got to wait for a month or two before you're really getting a lot of information. But I like more of what I'm seeing on the weekly chart than the monthly chart. I feel like I can do more with the information it's giving me. I come down to the daily chart. Daily chart shows definitely, as we just took out our smart show concept, potential downward moves down here. Order block and green support band coming in around $67, not that much further from where we just wicked. That's also going to put us close to that trend, that yellow trend I just drew on the monthly chart. I can kind of come back here and clean it up if I really wanted to. In fact, I definitely am going to as well. That's going to put us kind of in that same area as that yellow line right there. Look for another bounce, another higher low on Litecoin. Not a bad looking chart. Look.
You're welcome, America.
$68 area on Litecoin, I think is a good looking area. Don't think I need to wait for that take profit necessarily. I think that this is one that order block is going to size. Maybe we wick down and touch that take profit. But if I'm feeling like I want to buy a safe area, I'm looking at a $68 range and saying that's a solid low for me to buy some more Litecoin. If I'm super bullish on Litecoin, and some people are, some people aren't. Do with that information what you will. Let's see. Let's get like one more. I'm going on Josh's show here in about a half hour or so. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break. So we're going to end the show a little earlier than 4:15, but I'll do one more coin. Alex Katz says ICP. Put a 1 in chat if you guys like ICP. Put a 4 in chat if you do not like ICP. Why did I say 4? Because who likes 4? I don't know who likes 4. Again, I said it last time. I think CZ likes 4. It's more of a joke. 4 is just it's not very like well thought through. I don't know. It's just not a special number.
Here, how about this one, Tim? Put a 420 in chat if
everyone likes
you are going to be celebrating the Bitcoin halving with a little bit of green stimulation, if you know what I mean. Let's look at internet computing.
Like green beans?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So got a mixed results here. We got some 1s. We got some 4s. I'll tell you what, guys. I'll tell you what. I like ICP. I do like ICP. If you don't want to buy ICP, don't do it. But what I'm looking at right now, we're wrestling with this. Remember, we called the $11 support zone and this order block. We're still wrestling and keeping this smart trail concept on the daily chart in play. If we lose, so this is an if-then statement. If we lose the smart show concept and we break that orange line, I think that your next stop right here, you're finding a trifecta of confluence down here towards $8, right below $9, closer towards $8.50. You got a big fat order block. You got to take profit. You got the green support coming in here. We have not touched in a long, long time. So for me, ICP, I think, I bought some more here the other day. The ICP is one of the coins I actually added to my bag because it did exactly what I thought it would, and I didn't have enough supply. But I think if I'm looking to add more ICP, I'm not going to buy more right in this area. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see, can we get down towards $9? I think for me, $9. I don't really ever buy the exact bottoms. I buy the bottom zones. $9 to me looks like a nice place to acquire some more ICP.
If it doesn't, it looked like it could hold that level, that uptrending line.
It's again, that's why it's a big if-then statement. And look at the oscillators here. The oscillator is giving us some reversals. I'll have to take a look at the 4 hours. The 4 hour money flow, the 4 hours showing a potential buy here on a scalp long. I don't like when the money flows below the bearish threshold. But we got the green reversal. We have the bullish momentum. If I see the money flow here in the next couple of hours get back above this bearish threshold, that's that red faint line on the money flow for ALGO, then I think I'm entering a scalp long there. And what you're looking at, if that happens, more than likely on the 4 hour chart, you're probably going to see a move back up into the stop loss and the smart show concept somewhere back around 1350, back to the highs we had on the bounce back on the 15th. So again, that's what I'm seeing on ALGO. By the way, if you guys love what you see with ALGO when you come in and check it out, you love the TA we do here, you love the fact that this is a channel that is giving you guys what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear when it comes to price action, and you want to do that for yourself, go check out ALGO down below. And when you purchase ALGO with our link and you go over and connect to our Discord, you can file a ticket and I will approve you if you give me your ID, and you can join our trading group where I will give you the insight daily as to what I'm looking at, but B, this is the most important thing that not everyone even in that group takes advantage of. You need to tell me what you're trading, show me your trade setups, ask me questions, and I will give you feedback on your trades. Also, starting next week, not this week, next week, I will start doing a weekly webinar group. I don't know. We just created a live chat in there. I'm going to go live once a week with our trading group, and we're going to discuss nothing but trades. We'll do short-term trades, long-term trades, you name it. But you do need to have ALGO to be able to get in there and use it. Go sign up with the link down below. You're not going to regret it. If you're serious about trading and you want to make money trading this cycle, using ALGO is key there. Also, sign up for Blofin away. There's nothing special about Blofin to sign up for there. It just helps boost the channel and also gives you a place to leverage trade without using KYC. So go sign up for Blofin as well. With that said, though, guys, we're going to call it a wrap on today's show. Thank you for tuning in here, every single one of you who did. On your way out, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you enjoyed the channel. Don't miss a single piece of content that's going out. We're putting out some bangers here more recently. We're giving you good insight into coins. We're telling you what we're buying, what we're selling. We're preparing you for future price movements. If that's something you love, you found yourself the right channel. Become a bro today. Hit subscribe. With that said, see you tomorrow. Adi.
Os.
Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros. Investing bros.